How many times have you found yourself saying, if there were only more hours in the day? Or perhaps you've daydreamed about cloning yourself. Imagine being twice as productive.
Surely you've whispered these dreaded words, I just don't have the time. But what if we told you that doesn't have to be the case? Let's not waste another second and dive into today's episode. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Secrets in Medical Device Sales, brought to you by the Girls of Grit. And we are bringing you guys a fantastic episode today. I personally am really happy we're talking about this, Cindy, because I suck at it and you're really good at it.
But I think what's so fun about today is, doesn't everybody want to have more time in the day? I mean, if anybody's listening and they disagree with me, then please DM us because there's something we're missing. And what is so fun is that today is all about the reality. In our power plays, what we're really talking about is when you are a high performer and you've achieved high levels, or you are really trying to achieve a higher level. Sometimes it's how do you go from good to great? What can I do to intensify just one area to make it better? And that's the whole thing about a power play is you've got an advantage for 2 minutes. So how do we incorporate that in our day? And today's topic is one of the most important topics when it comes to maximizing your outcome. But we wanted to make this as real as can be. So today's episode, our power play number 8, is giving yourself time back in the day, because we are managing time the way the Girls of Grit do and revealing a special secret that puts a spin on it like nobody else does.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really glad that this is part of the topics that we're covering. And, again, I said this in one of the other episodes, but like every time we do this, I'm like, oh yeah, I should be better at that. And this is one that I 100% struggle with, as I am sure you even struggle with from time to time, even though you're not as bad as me. But,
Oh, yes, I do.
It's hard to be a working mother, a working wife, a working partner, a sister, all these things. As women, we handle not just our jobs. Like there's other things going on. So personally for me, you guys know that I've got 2 kiddos and one doesn't drive. So guess what? I got to have some nannies that help me out. But it's also like the coordination between what home the kid's going to be at this week, what nights they're going to be at their dad's versus my house, their activities. My daughter has multiple activities going on. My son does as well. Then you factor in dentist appointments, doctor's appointments, dinners every night, shopping list, lunches, breakfast. And then, oh, by the way, you still have a full-time job that you need to be on top of and be like mastering. So then you're getting calls from surgeons, you're getting calls from hospitals, you're getting emails, you're driving to these accounts. It's so easy, Cindy, to be overwhelmed really quickly and lose hours of your day trying to put out little fires, that I think after we go through this episode, I will even be better at prioritizing and making better use of my days, because I get up at 5 as it is. I don't want to get up any earlier than that.
And I do too. And that's one of the keys. Push your time back in the day. But I think there's something in there that I think all of our listeners need to understand is the acceptance that we just have a lot on our plates. Yeah. And you need to give yourself grace, because the whole reason we work is for our lives. And so if we can have you take away today to align how you put all of your priorities in the correct order, and you can be that great mom, great wife, great friend, great dog mom, great cat mom, great sister, daughter, every bit, one of your best friends. Because if we don't enjoy what we're doing, then why are we doing this? And when we enjoy what we're doing, we give back so much better. And we become that high performer that we really, really want to be. But I think guilt needs to go out the door. And it's a stereotypical comment, but I will say that there are many in this situation, and I'm not saying everybody is exactly what Lisa described, is women become the CEO of their job, of their home, of themselves, of life organization. So if you have toddlers, it's daycare and they need you to help put their shoes on, Yep. Then when they're teenagers, it's all different level stress. And then even later, whatever stage of life you're in, you can make things out to be horrific, or we can help you look at things more relative and just put everything that you really have on the plate. And then let's all make it work. because this is the one gift we're given as life, and let's just live it to the best.
Oh, that makes me feel so good, Cindy. Like you totally just calmed down my mind. I'm like, oh, and already I feel a little bit more relaxed about my hectic day ahead. So, all right. So, do we reveal the secret yet? Or do you
I
want to?
think okay. Well, you go, Lisa. Let's reveal it. I love
Okay.
it.
Well, you kind of said it already. And
I
you know,
know.
what's
Can't
funny is
help it.
it's okay. When you and I were chatting on the phone about this, you said the secret. I'm like, oh my gosh, this totally makes me think of something. So I'm going to tell you guys a secret, and then I'm going to tell you the analogy that I use, which to me makes perfect sense. And hopefully to all of you, it will as well. So our secret of becoming super, super efficient with your time, being aligned. It's alignment. So what does that mean? Well, alignment with your priorities, alignment with what's going on at work versus what do you need to do at home versus what do you need to do for yourself personally. It's all about alignment. And what made me think of something as an example is because of all the driving we do, and I do a lot. Dude, I've literally looked. My car isn't even 4 years old, and I almost have 170,000 miles on it.
Welcome to medical device.
Right? Welcome to medical device. Do you know what I tell people, by the way? I tell people that I'm an overpaid truck driver. Like literally,
Delivery girl.
I am, dude. It's crazy. But so anyhow, I'm in the shop every like 2 to 3 months. I was just asking the guy, he's like, you bought so many oil changes. I'm like, well, how many do I have left? He goes, you bought like 20. I go, how many do I have left? He goes, after this one, you have 5. I'm like, 5? I've already run through 15 of these suckers. That is insane to me. So anyhow, back to the story. Every time you go to take your car in, they switch out your tires to different areas, which like the front one may go to the back one. I guess if it's only an all-wheel drive. I don't know. I drive an American car, so it is what it is. They also have to align the tire. Like the alignment has to be right because as you guys know, when the alignment is off, your car starts to shift. It shakes. When you get to a certain speed, you feel like, oh my God, the wheels might fall off, right? So if you take that analogy now and place that in your life, if you aren't aligned correctly, all of a sudden, and you start going too fast and you're just throwing a bunch of stuff out and you're like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. Da, da, da. You start to literally shake. And now you're not going to go anywhere. Or if you are, you're off the alignment and there's a chance the wheels do come off and you lose your mind and you go crazy. And, at the end of the day, at least I do, at the end of the day, you're like, I can't get anything done. I feel like I am so overwhelmed. I have nothing left to give. And the truth is that can happen if you aren't prioritizing and aligning yourself the correct way. So I am so happy we're talking about this today, Cindy, because I think this can be applied in any job, in any life situation that we face today.
You are so right. I mean, none of us want to have all the weight in one tire, right? And then it's off balance. And think about that. This is what we do to ourselves. We put too much weight in one area that maybe we don't need to. So we don't want any of you to feel that way. We want you to get in your car today with all your tires aligned and your body aligned too. So today's episode, we are going to give you 5 actionable strategies to help you align your day. All this factors into time management, but it aligns how you feel, how your work production, your home production as well. So beginning with numero uno, the very first actionable step, which is probably the most important step in aligning your day to have more hours and time to do everything you need to do, is prioritization. So I know that can be tough at times because how many people write a list and the list is like 10 things long and then you have to figure out which are the top 3, right?
Me. I do that all the time. And I'm like, oh, but this is important. Oh, but this is important. So yes, I think you're perfect for explaining this, Cindy, because I need help with that one.
I'm going to give you a watch out. So when you make a list of say 10, what you don't want to do is look at the 10 and be like, the ones you don't want to do that are longer and harder. And then you just do the little tasks at the top. That takes up just so you can cross it off the list.
Oh, you know my secret, Cindy.
So you got to look at the 10 and you have to say what absolutely has to be done today. Pick the top 3 most important to prioritize. So actually, I'm sure many of you have heard of the 80-20 rule. Okay. This actually has a real name for it. And the name of it explains, it's called the Eisenhower Matrix. So maybe Eisenhower was onto something. Okay. So this really helps you differentiate between urgent and important. So what do I mean? Okay, so 80-20 rule really talks about 80% of your return on what you're doing only comes from 20% of the tasks that you are doing. And I think that's so important because you have to think when you have a list of 10, pull those top 3, they're going to impact the most return in 20% of your business. And so think about, you have targets, right? You have maybe some accounts that you're already working with, or accounts that you're trying to build that you can have a much faster return because maybe you're already on contract or you already have products in there. You already know the doctors. You're going to get a much faster return putting them in your 20% bucket. But we can't ignore the 80% other. The 80% is your constant fuel to keep going, right? You're always planting new seeds. Some of that's cold calling. Some of that is long-term. Maybe it'll take a year to get something to committee. So when you look at that list of 10 for the day, it is really important to help you align when you look at the 80-20 rule, but this is up to you. You're the one that has to prioritize and be honest with yourself and be like, just because I don't want to do that doesn't mean it goes to the bottom of the list. Because again, we're here to help you align your day. And if you take your most fresh mind before you get distracted, before things change your mood, and just know this is absolutely important. And if I get this done, this is going to move my business. So a little bit of discipline in this, put that time aside, block it to say, this is what I need to do. It is the most important. I promise you a return if the only thing you do today is this. And then let me know.
That's such a great, you know what, as you're sitting here telling this, I am thinking in my own head, right, about my own business and what's happening right now in my territory. And it's like, we all probably know the things that need to get done, the customers that you need to call on, the cases that need to get covered, the stuff that needs to get ordered, et cetera, et cetera. Some of that's really easy, right? Like some of that's pretty much just check the box and it will bring you a return at some point. But some of it is stuff that we don't want to do. And what I found really interesting is when you said the 80%, which is not bringing, okay, so the 20% gives you the 80% of revenue. That I agree with. That would be like, you know, you convert a hospital to using your product. That's probably going to be a long game, but at the same time, it's a huge return, right? But then there's that other 80% that's kind of here and there, little twiddly things. And what I found interesting is you put cold calling into that. I love that because that's what that is something that's hard. Nobody wants to cold call. Who the heck wants to go out and start doing sales calls 101? It's like, I'm not new here. I've been doing this for a while. But the truth is you do need to do the cold calling every single day or week on that list. Something new should be put into the bucket. Why? Because you have to fill your pipeline. And that was such a good point, Cindy, because that cold call may or may not bring in revenue. I mean, it could be a quick hit. You never know. You might get super lucky with a new customer, or it may bring you nothing. But the point is, you still need to be doing it. So I love that you brought that up because I never even thought about that till you were just talking.
Oh, well, that's awesome. And that 80% can always shift and become part of your 20.
Right.
And it
Absolutely.
might not happen right away. Like you said, you might not get anything out of it. But don't forget, when you cold call, you're going back every month. They're there on a day you feel good. They're on a day that you have an extra bit of time, or you're passing by, or you need to wait 2 hours for something. But I think it's so important that they keep churning the engine because that is what's going to build a really long career. So prioritizing is absolutely number one in aligning your day that you will really feel good about.
I love that. And when you check things off that list, it feels really good too. All
Yes.
right. Number 2 is goal setting. So we talk a lot about setting goals. You know, why are you doing this job? What is driving you sales wise, number wise, you know, why you're going to what customer for what. All of those things are really important. I think for me, this probably goes right along with the prioritization, right? So if you are really concentrating on that 20% that's going to bring that 80% of revenue, what are your goals within that? So maybe it's just as simple as you need to get something through the VAT committee. So your goal setting for that week with that specific customer, product, hospital is do the paperwork, get it done and put into the right hands, send the emails or follow up. Did they have the meeting? Do you know what the answer is yet? If you got the answer, was it a yes or a no? If it was a no, now you need to go back and do some work. So that now moves on your prioritization list to maybe a different spot. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Cindy, but I'm thinking that every single thing needs to have its own goal because not everything is the same, right? I mean, or you may have like the cold calling example, you have a customer that you've been wanting to talk to and you can't seem to get in front of him or her in the office. So maybe you reset that goal and you say, okay, well, if I can't get them there, then I'm going to go to this meeting and I'm going to set up a dinner with them and they can meet a VP of our company. And then now we're going to change that goal a little bit.
Absolutely. And you know what you just said is really what we've talked about before is reverse engineering. You have a big goal, break it into smaller ones. But how do we get to alignment with this step? It's about maintaining motivation. And how else do we get motivated? Then we can have a simple goal. If you make it so large, it's like, oh, just going to give up. But you make it large, you break it down by quarter, you break it down by month, you break it down by week. And then it's exciting when you've hit the first step. And now there's the motivation that, okay, this is the first step. I may have more to go, but keeping yourself motivated will keep you aligned and making your goals very realistic. Again, when we talked about the alignment in this, I just want this episode to really feel like you're in charge. And even though there's discipline involved in this to some extent, but give yourself grace, accept how you feel, but you've still got to stay on track and you'll stay motivated and be able to do it. So number 2, goal setting, I think that is really important to bring us into number 3. So the third actionable step, and all women are either good at this, but need to remind themselves, and that's flexibility. Because when we talk about time management, it seems so disciplined, right? When people say it, it seems so structured and rigid. But if you're able to put a little bit of flexibility and cultivate that into your plans and adapt, my goodness, you are going to find more time in the day. And really understand there's going to be challenges and opportunity, but it's pivoting. It's adjusting your strategies. It's looking at your day, right?
Well, I was going to say, give us a good example of that, because I mean, I have a couple in my head, but
go ahead.
So let's just say, for example, that you're driving along, which has happened to me. And all of a
really?
Sudden,
with your line tires?
Yeah, exactly. With my line tires. And a rock flies out of a semi and hits my windshield. And I'm on my way to
Safe light repair, safe light replace.
That was good, actually. Good for you. Look at you, your little student.
Been there a lot.
You're on pitch too. The truth is you're like,
not all I can sing.
Well, heck, I mean, depending on the crack now, I will be honest, I drive around with a cracked windshield a lot because I don't have the time. Here we are, don't have the time, but it is unsafe. It truly is.
And you're in Florida, so it doesn't get cold and the crack doesn't grow overnight in the frost.
No, it doesn't, which is really bad. So, but anyhow, so this has actually happened, right? I was going to go make a really important customer call, and a rock flew up and hit. Actually, I don't even know if it was a rock. I think it was on something on the side of the road. Either way, I was headed to one of my accounts far away, like 5 hours away from me. And something on the side of the road flew up and hit my truck. And it totally like dismantled the front part of my truck, right? The fender, the whole thing, and to the point where like it was hanging down and it was like I couldn't drive anymore. So I pull off the side of the road and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I literally have to go today. I've called this customer. This was a doctor I was trying to get in front of. He was at the office that day. I had lunch already ordered for the office, like the whole thing. I was going to show him a new product. I mean, a lot was riding on this, and I had to cancel. And I sat there for, an hour waiting for a tow truck to come and tow me. Then I had to go get towed to some random dealership to have them fix the fender because I couldn't go anywhere. Oh, by the way, it also slashed my tire, so I had to get that repaired. It was like a whole day of just, you got to be joking me. And not only did I not do what I set out to do that day, but my whole entire day was thrown. But I will tell you what I did instead, Cindy, is first of all, you always need to have your computer with you. So I sat down while I waited hours upon hours and I did emails. I mean, of course, I called them immediately to let them know I wasn't coming. I rescheduled that. They got lunch and they were great and, happy for that. But the point is like, you have to be flexible. I mean, I know that there's a lot of different examples of being flexible, but that's one that throws your entire day off. Now, if I had been headed there for a case and the same thing happened, well, guess what? I'd be on the phone calling somebody to last minute either run the case for me or I'd be doing it over FaceTime. I mean, it is what it is. You have to be flexible because life happens. Or a doctor cancels on you. I mean, there's a million things. You just have to learn how to be flexible and not get so out of your own mind that you can't now pivot and change and go to the next thing on that list.
That was such a great story. Life happens. You said it. And if we let it paralyze us, it doesn't do any good. And you did everything right. Okay, you accept it. And honestly, you never know. Maybe there was a divine reason why you couldn't be there, and it's setting you up that they understand you were coming to see them. They know that you were held up by out of your control. It was completely out of your control. But what you had the chance to do is make a choice to control the rest of your day or let it control you. And you did a great job. And I think that's really important because we do get beat down when things, and that's kind of scary too. Then you're, oh my God, how much is this going to cost? And then I got to take care of this. It weighs on you. We're all human. Again, this is about alignment. But if you can just accept it, control what you can control, make the use of your day, then you get to go back and have that call. And you never know, maybe they will be more ready to listen to you anyway.
Great point.
Get that in your 20% bucket.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually,
no, that's
let me
great.
finish the story. I ended up going back and meeting with that doc, and he did use my product for the very first time. And he loved it. It was a great outcome. And it actually was a case where he had tried other vendors and it didn't work. And my product.
Really?
So it was actually a really great, I was able to reschedule that lunch pretty quickly. And we did the case like 2 weeks later. But yeah, it totally turned out to be a fantastic situation. Not at the time, but, 2 weeks later. I mean, at the time I was losing my ever loving mind and lots of curse words were coming out of my mouth, but it's what it is. All right. So moving on, this one I need help with. So
you and me both.
Number 4. And I think most women and even men, I mean, I think we all struggle with this because our jobs can be consuming. They can be overwhelmingly consuming. And we forget that we need to have self-care and take breaks. And, what does that mean? I mean, self-care can mean something different to you versus what it means to me. If you're struggling to find that time in the day, even 5 minutes of just sitting in the car and mentally taking a break from everything and just breathing. There are so many meditation apps out there that you can literally hit and do a 50-second or 90-second meditation or breathing exercises. And the amount of relaxation or just release of pent-up energy that it'll help you with is insane. And I don't do this enough. And I think that when we get really overwhelmed with all the things, we feel like we don't have time, but we do. You have 90 seconds.
Yes. And if you want to take it a step further, so the funny thing is Lisa knows, so here it is like Sunday evening, and we push this back a little bit because I had a massage today. Now, I joined this place where you can pay for the month and you get, I think it's like 10 or 20% off each massage. So I did it to force myself to get a once a month massage, because I was switching roles, kind of doing my old job, doing my new job, and still helping out with a lot. I've had a really full year. We all ebb and flow in our jobs. This has been a very busy, busy year for me. So I go to pay and she says, okay, well, it was an hour massage. And with the credit, it came to like $94 or something. She goes, however, you have $541 in credits. I'm like, so I really haven't been here. $541 because it comes out automatically each month. That's how long I kept changing my appointment. I was like, okay. So actually, when I left there, I said, enough. And I was like, I made an appointment for 2 more Sundays. I already made May's appointment. I already made June's appointment because that's like really good self-care. But, on a Sunday, if I just take an hour to myself, it set me up better. Like, I'm kind of excited for Monday morning tomorrow when we get rocking and rolling. But you could do the simple things like Lisa said. But my gosh, I need to take my own advice. And action 1 is prioritize. And I haven't prioritized myself, but I know I can be so much better if I do, because I already feel good for this week. So watch out, team. I'm in a really good mood.
I love that. And as you're sitting there telling me that, I'm thinking, well, what about all those women that have little kids at home that are like, I can't leave. I've got kids, I've got basketball, I've got football, I've got cheerleading, I've got horseback riding, I've got swim, I've got this, I've got that. But you do have that time. And if your husband is busy or your partner is busy, get a nanny, hire a babysitter, have a friend,
best ever.
Neighbors. I mean, there are multiple sources that you can pull from. It's 1 hour or maybe an hour and a half when you factor in the driving out of your day that you are giving back to yourself so that you can give to others better. Because the truth is, and you know this very well, Cindy, when we get run down, the first people that it comes out on are our family. And those are the last people that we want it to come out on, because that's why we're doing this job, because we want to spend more time with them, right? So it's like, okay, we need to be better at our time. We need to be better at our management of prioritizing what's important, and you yourself are important as well. Not just your customers, not just the people in your life, but you yourself. And if you don't prioritize yourself, when the wheels fall off, which is you, the only person that can help you put those wheels back on is you. And if you don't have anything left in the tank to do it, you're SOL. So I
And
think it's so important, and I'm proud of you for doing that. And that's not an easy thing. It sounds easy, but it's really not easy. Things come
I,
up.
I would say the first 10, 15 years when my kids were little, I just felt guilty leaving them. And I
Sure.
think what I need to say is that it
Yeah.
took me getting older to give myself
Yeah.
time back. And that's one regret. So if you have little kids, just fine. Little kids love babysitters. Like my kids
Oh
used
my
to
gosh.
love when a babysitter came because it's
Yeah.
fun, exciting. You find a teenager they can play with, and it's just a short time. But that is something I did not do for myself that I'm learning now. So I advise all of you just take an hour. It will give you return in alignment to manage
Oh,
your day. I promise.
yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
Lisa,
Number
our
5.
fifth one.
Yeah. 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 So reflection and adjustment. And what do we mean by that? Regular reflection and adjustment. So to me, what does that mean? It means you got to look back and you got to make sure you're still achieving what you want, what you set out to achieve. Maybe that's reverse engineering. Maybe your goal was, I want to land this customer. Are you doing all the steps to get to landing that customer? Are you making the calls? Are you doing the lunches? Are you setting up the in-services? Are you doing the things that you're supposed to be doing? And if you're missing out, maybe you got deterred. Maybe you did have a flat tire and you missed out on that lunch. And then, oh, by the way, 10 cases packed on. So now you forgot about the lunch with that new customer that you were trying to get, which was in essence a cold call. That can fall off a list pretty quickly when things start piling up. So you have to be able to regularly look at this list of prioritizations and remind yourself of the things that you have not done or that have fallen off the list that you need to circle back and do.
This is also really, really important that you do an honest reflection. This is not a Scantron that you are submitting that spits out a report. You have to honestly reflect what you're doing for yourself, because if you don't answer honestly, you can't adjust and align yourself correctly. And that is so key. Ask yourself the difficult questions, get rid of the guilt, accept where you are, control what you can control, and then move forward. So I think these 5 actionable steps are just to real quickly summarize. Hands down prioritization. That's the 80-20 rule. Number 2, goal setting. Number 3, flexibility. Number 4, self-care and breaks. And number 5, reflection of yourself. And that's an honest reflection. And I think that when you put all these aspects together, you can really foster that positive mindset, because it'll set you up for effective time management. And you won't have to feel so strict and disciplined and structured when it just flows and you're motivated and you're happy and then you give to everybody. It is such an amazing feeling. So we really, really want to challenge you all in this power play number 8 of time management. So I want every one of you to think of one thing today that you can put as a prioritization on your list into that 20%. Let us know if you get a return, because I guarantee if you do these things, you will be tenfold productive in your day.